Survivor's ready.
If anybody has a hidden immunity idol and you want to play it, now would be the time to do so.
The queen stays queen.
You said rustle feathers.
Did you do that?
Yeah.
We have ripe bananas all the time.
Dude, my prize isn't even $1 million. My prize was that I fell in love in this game. Love at first sight. Her name is Candace.
You officially go down as the dumbest survivor ever.
Welcome to Not Game, all personal. Hey, we are a Survivor podcast here to talk about all things Survivor, more specifically the events of this week's episode. I'm Nathan. This is Tony. Tony, we were incorrect in our prediction in many ways. We were curious if they would do a split tribal, and turns out they pulled a complete new one for the new era. Kind of exciting, yes.
Yeah,
Maybe?
I thought it was interesting. I had a little fun. I had talked to, or my nephew had texted me. He listens to Jeff's podcast, and he said that the only reason they didn't do the mergatory was because Jake went out early, and so that threw a wrench in their plans because they were always going to merge at 11. And so once I knew that, I was pretty confident going into this. Well, I had forgotten. That's a whole other thing about the season. I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, it wasn't surprising that they did another like split kind of thing. And yeah, there was a new wrinkle in it, but it wasn't the most surprising thing in the world.
Yeah, so in previous seasons of this new era, they would split into two, not tribes, teams, because they're merged.
Teams.
And
it's important.
Both of them would go to tribal council with this. So essentially this week, it was as if 5 people won individual immunity and didn't have to go to tribal. That's kind of the gist, right? Like the losing group had to go to tribal council. Now, I don't know how much we want to get into the extra wrinkle. Probably save that a little bit for the winner. Yeah. So all that to say, I think whatever was going to happen this week was going to come down to a bit of the luck of the draw, right? Because I think like any time that you are split up after having voted together, you could just be unlucky, you know? And like, was that the case this episode? I would honestly say maybe not.
Yeah.
Like
I think
this...
the outcome of this episode was like, I mean, it was, there's a level of it that was unlucky, but I think it was intentional gameplay that made what happened happen. Does that make sense?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like the unlucky, if you were to like look at all the people who were on the losing team, there might be like a ranking of like who's the most unlucky, but the person who was the number one most unlucky seemingly had it rather easy. And the person that did go home, I would say went home due to their own doing and perhaps strategy by other people. But this was like the first time where the losing team, the person that goes home, I'm not like, oh, well, it's just because of losing team. Like, no, I don't think that was necessarily the case. I think the draw was fine for this person. It was just other factors that here we are, I guess.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I wonder. I mean, we're beating around the bush like we don't know what happened, and we're not going to talk about exactly what happened. So I'm just going to say it. I don't know. MC, like, did she play it perfectly? No. I don't know that. Like, or what would you say was like the big issue that they're the wrong thing that she did that caused this? Because I think to an extent, like, yeah, it just kind of fell that way with how things were split and just the conversations that happened, but I don't know that maybe I missed it that she did something specific that led to that.
I would say there were two key moments. The first moment was an error on Sophie's part by telling MC that she was going to put a vote on Juwan. I think the second mistake was done by MC by telling Juwan that and then trying to put it on Sophie. Because I think like once those two things happened, Rizzo was in the clear. And I think the two targets were going to be Sophie and MC. Now, like, I think we'll probably have to wait a bit to see, like, you know, until next week to see, like, their exact reasoning. but my suspicion is that I don't know. Like they just thought MC was doing too much as far as the like.
Mm-hmm.
I know this plan. I know this backup plan. Let me blow both of those up and try to get it back on Sophie. Which like was she the most chaotic? I don't know if I would say so, but like that seems to be their thought. This seemed to be a moment where they viewed her as a strong player. Here was their chance.
Mm-hmm.
We have a reason. I think like
Yeah.
to me it kind of like mirrored a little bit of like why Juwan and Sage were so concerned with Shannon. Like could MC have been like showing signs of like this is what Shannon did?
Yeah.
I don't know. So like I don't think MC like made a huge mistake. I just think like this should have been a week where you should have just played it as safe as possible.
Mm-hmm. And as we talk about it, like the big thing is she didn't tell people about her idol, and they were pretty upset about that. Like that was a big piece of it.
That
too,
too,
that I guess
yes.
I think about immediately. And so that, I mean, her telling Jawan might have been trying to win him back after knowing that he seemed a little upset about. But yeah, that's just how it goes sometimes. Like I don't know that she did a lot of things that I would be like that's awful. But yeah, sometimes that the outcome is whether or not it's a good move sometimes. I don't know. We've gotten to that debate before. Where I'm at well, maybe this isn't the best place for this, but this felt like a beginning of the show thing to talk about. So I'm gonna shift gears a little bit. How excited are you like to watch every episode this season? Like, is it something that you're like looking forward to or thinking about more than just on Wednesdays and Thursdays?
I will say after this episode, I am probably at the peak of my excitement so far. Up until last week, I would say no, but I think that's a common like new era trait where it's like just give me the merge so I can like actually see what's gonna happen. And I think last week was like fine, but this week I'm like, oh, there is actually something like I am now latched onto the dynamics in a way I wasn't. So like I don't know, like probably not as much as like other seasons, but I think I'm getting there, and I'm hopeful that it'll shift. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I'm in a weird spot where I don't think about it the rest of the week. But when I'm here and when it's like, ooh, I have to watch this episode, it's like I think that these tribe dynamics are very interesting. And there's a lot of players that I'm enjoying watching play the game. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's a solid season so far, or a decent season at least. But I just isn't that much excitement around it for me. And maybe that's the anticipation for season 50 a little bit too, where it feels like we just got to get this out of the way. But yeah, I just had that feeling today where I was like, "Oh, I get to watch this episode. I'm interested what happens." But like, what happened last week? Like, have I thought about this at all since like we talked about it last? Not really. And so it was just an interesting thought. And so I was curious where you were at.
Yeah, I'm probably about same. I think I don't know. The new era is kind of like a toss up. I think there are certainly seasons that at this point I was more excited. I will say that where.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's like the best comparison I can have because I think like this episode to me sparked something like, oh, there could be potential. Whereas like this is the first time where I'm actually like thinking through like what's it going to be like next week. Which like I like maybe thought a little bit about that last week, but again, like knowing that they were probably going to split up into two teams, and knowing that like those twists are going to happen, it's just I think that does hinder my anticipation because it's just something I like. How am I supposed to anticipate anything where I don't know who's going to be voting with who? Where it's like now that I know next week there are going to be these 9 people all voting together, it at least gives me some frame of reference for what I should be thinking about throughout the week.
Absolutely, it's. And like this is the best case scenario I feel like for this twist because I think we've talked about it in the past. Like I hate how they do a tribal and then immediately do this, and it feels like it kills any momentum that the last tribal had. But I feel like this is an interesting scenario where not the majority of them weren't like this, where it feels like the momentum is carrying even more, and it's like, ooh, this is it's getting more fun. I'm calling it right now. This is my hot take for season 50. I think when they do this, because they probably will. I think it's gonna be like Suri goes home, and people are gonna hate it, and that's gonna be fun. That's just something I thought of while you were
She's gonna go
talking.
home at the
That's what's
split
gonna happen.
teams.
Yeah, the split. It's gonna be a smaller team, and it's be like, well, Suri's a problem. We might as well just get rid of her now, and that's gonna.
Well-
people are gonna be pissed.
Okay, you brought it up, so I'm gonna bring it up. I don't know if you saw this, and I don't want to talk about this. Let me just say that I don't want to talk about this, but I do need
Okay.
to bring it up just as a statistical fact. The past 9 seasons that they've done this twist, or not 9 seasons. There are 9 examples of this because sometimes there's 2 because 2 people get voted out if it's okay. 9 people from the new
Yeah.
era have been black. MC is the 9th.
That have gone out at this point.
At this point, the split team.
Out of how many? Because,
Post-merge.
like you said, there's 2 votes, right?
I don't know
Or
how
no?
many. The graphic I saw was just 9 people, and it was all accurate. Like I knew them all. It was who was it? It was Tim. It was Say. It was Caleb. I don't know. I could go because like I'm pretty sure it was like season 43 or 44
Yeah.
that they started it. So again, it's probably not like everyone, but like even like 9 is a lot. And so again, I'm not trying to like say this is a systematic,
No, and I don't
systemic
think that's what
like.
you're saying.
I'm just saying like. It's funny that you brought up Suri because in hindsight, now
Yeah,
knowing
that's
this,
crazy.
like maybe MC should have been a more obvious like. I don't know. Like that's all I'm gonna say. Is it's a weird thing.
Yeah.
If someone wants to dissect it, go ahead. I'm not qualified enough to like say why that is, but yeah, there you go.
Nice. Yeah, my mind, because for the listeners that don't know, I went to school for math, and so there's like a little bit of like the statistical like that is tickling my brain right now, where it's like, ooh, I want to dig into that a little bit and see like what's going. If I don't think that there's anything to that, I don't think it's like, oh, a smaller tribe vote out the black person. Like that's not.
Well,
what it is,
okay,
but
so I'm like looking last
it's
season.
like a
It was
statistical
both
anomaly.
it was both Say and Cedric last season.
Yeah, that's tough.
Season 47. Who was it? Was it? Oh gosh, actually, no. Rome was at the actual merge. Oh, was it Tiana? I think it was Tiana.
It might have been Tiana. That sounds right. That sounds very right.
Because she was after Rome. And then, oh no. It might have been the last. Season 46 was both Tim and Soda.
Tim and
Tony.
Soda, yep.
So that's 5 in a row. Well, MC would have been the 6th.
Well, season 41 was Nasir and Evie. So that's one white person.
Season 45 was Sifu and Caleb.
Golly, that's crazy.
So there is a trend. So I think it was 9 in a row. Let's see.
Looks like they didn't do.
Uh-oh.
Oh no, they did.
Season
Rocksroy
44.
and Tori. So that's another one.
Season 44 was Brandon. Who was-
Rocksroy, add that one to it. 43.
Oh no.
This is crazy.
Oh no. Is James and Ryan.
And Ryan.
All right, math guy. Do we need to dissect this? Do we need to solve
There's like
racism on
2.
Survivor?
There's like 2, maybe 3 white people that have ever
Here's-
gone out at that point. That is bananas. How that is
My question is like, why hasn't this been pointed out? This feels like something that should have been realized sooner, right? Like, why is it season 49? Why is it the 9th person in a row that we're now like, wait a minute?
Yeah, I'm gonna write this down. I'm gonna dig into it a little bit and see what's going
All
on.
right.
Because I don't remember ever like feeling like that was like an influence in these votes. And of course they're
Right,
gonna edit
yeah.
it so that it's not. If it was. And I think it's unreasonable to automatically be like, oh, yep, all right, yeah, Survivor's just racist at this particular point in the game. Like that doesn't make sense either.
No, I think the only thing
That's
I
fascinating.
could maybe chalk it to is if like there is just this subconscious bias that like when you do have this smaller group, do those people stand out more as like being I hate it.
I mean, those
in the
people.
minority. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. You know, again, I'm not trying to like
That's
solve
tough.
this. It's
Yeah.
just a
It's-
matter of
yeah.
like that's a lot of coincidences.
That's banana land.
And the fact that
it's
you
outrageous
just the
how
fact
often
that you just like
happens.
lobbed up Suri as if like, oh yeah, it's probably gonna be her.
I just picked the person that everybody loves.
I think
That's where I was going
you're
for
part of the
there.
problem. You are.
No.
That's what they're all saying. Is like, I think it's gonna be MC. Oh, anyways, yeah. So, sound off in the comments what you think. Your thoughts are. I'm glad I brought that up. Now I didn't realize it was so.
That's crazy.
I just saw a
looking back,
graphic.
Not that I didn't believe you, but seeing it and seeing how like much that's crazy. That's so crazy.
Yeah. All right. Well, do we want to? Where do we want to go now? You.
I think we
segue
call it.
somewhere.
I think that's the episode.
That's the
We don't
episode.
have
Bye-bye,
anything more to
MC.
offer. Survivor's racist.
yeah.
Next story.
How much
How's the challenge
pre? How much pre immunity challenge is there to discuss? I guess we kind of talked about the fallout of last tribal. I mean, it was the 3 people
And
left out of the
that's-
vote, and then MC not telling people she had an idol, which clearly affected her gameplay to some extent.
Yeah. And I think that's the bulk of it. I don't know. I think that we had some really interesting and like insights into some of these players' mindsets coming out of that tribal. MC was one where I was actually like, oh yeah, let's go MC, because she was like, hey, I'm glad I did that. I thought it was sick. And then it went to Joanne where he's like, she lied to me. What the heck's that about? And like her perspective was like, yeah, I'm going to do this because I don't know that I can trust them yet because they haven't voted with me yet. And we've talked about that before being a thing. Like you don't really know until they put pen to paper. And so that made sense, but yeah, how you handle that and who you do it to matters as well. Rizzo, I think, was interesting where he was like, hey, I kept my idol. That was best case scenario. And like, I'm in a good spot now because I still have that idol. And so, yeah, there were just a couple. And I think Savannah had something too, where it was like, oh, it's fun to see how these people's minds work for the game, because I feel like they're different. They're very different players. Whereas a few seasons ago, I remember we had like season 47 where it felt like there were the 3 women who were all playing similarly, and so I was like, oh, who's gonna win out of them? And now it just feels so different how everybody's approaching the game, and that's being put on display.
Yeah. No, I agree. And it's interesting too. I think Jawan had a confessional, I forget at what point, but he was talking about Savannah, and he almost described it as like he wants her out because she is playing at a fast pace he's not comfortable with. So like if he gets her out, then like we can get people that play at like my pace, which I kind of took it as like you're just not as good at the game, or maybe just slow at the game. I don't know. I think he didn't take it like that, but I was like, I don't think this is a compliment for yourself. But I do think like everyone is playing at their own pace and in their own style, and I think that's kind of fascinating. And I mean, we'll get to Rizzo, but I think like he should not be as like calm and confident as he is, but like he is.
No.
I was like, maybe you should have played your idol last week. You know, maybe you should have played it this week, but like you didn't, and you're still here. But like, it doesn't feel like you have much like. Where are you getting this confidence from? Because I'm not seeing why you should feel this safe.
If there's anything I have learned about Rizzo in these first few weeks, is there is some level of just insane confidence in that man that I just don't know where it comes from. But it's working. Like, I think both of those situations, I would have played my idol just to be safe. Like, I don't know that I would have had the guts, the balls to just not play it. And so, like, the fact that he just was like, no, I trust this. And maybe you never know. There could have been a lot more conversations that made him feel very very comfortable that we're like legitimate. They don't show us that for the most part. And we didn't get to hear those whispers at all either. All the whispers that were happening. Like those were interesting. I wish I could have heard a little bit of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I wasn't a huge he was we talked last week, he wasn't like one of the more interesting players. He's getting there for me a little bit. I'm a little bit more interested in what he's has going on, and like that confidence is fascinating. Especially because usually that means they crash and burn. So I'm excited to see him call himself the Riz God and get voted out.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, I think the only other thing, like, pre-challenge, because, like, once the challenge is over, you know, like, you just don't hear from, like, the other people, you know, like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, Christina or Alex. So it's kind of like,
Sage.
there's
No,
really,
not Sage. She was in the.
she was on it, yes. So I don't know,
That was
there's just,
fun.
like, not a
Yeah,
lot
that
to
was
talk
fun.
about this episode about them yet. But I think, like, the one conversation
I
that was
think
interesting.
Alex, there was some interesting stuff. But yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say the other person I think is Steven, because he had a conversation with
Yeah.
Savannah where she really like opened up to him about, you know, her personal life and how it might relate to her survivor experience, and it seemed to like work really well on him, which I
Yeah.
feel like she was probably pretty bummed out that didn't like help her later in tribal, although she didn't need help clearly.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so I'm curious to see how that goes, especially now that MC's gone. Like,
Mhm.
is there gonna be
Yeah. Yeah.
more of a soft spot for him now, especially seeing that, like, hey, Sage, Jawan, Sophie, they all turned on my number one. Maybe I should just go to
Yeah.
Savannah and Rizzo here. Like, I don't know. I don't think it's impossible.
Yeah, I do think Savannah, the way that it was edited was she was just like, can I tell you about this really, really challenging time in my life? And then just goes into it. And it was like, oh, that felt kind of like an abrupt thing to bring up in a conversation like this. So that was a little funny. But yeah, it seemed really effective. And like I mean, that would be a very difficult situation to be in. So that makes sense. Like it felt very authentic. And yeah, I think that's true. I think one thing that, yeah, I didn't even think about the fact that Steven could just flip out. Yeah, that makes me even more excited to see what he's gonna do now that she's gone. Like, do you just double down with what is it, Hina? Yeah, Hina, or do you flip over to that side?
Well,
I'm in.
that's because Sophie was not in that original alliance of the Hina 4. So, like, who knows what his relationship with her is like. Christina, like, she's still just kind of like this unknown where she's just not getting any screen time, so it's, like, impossible to
Mhm.
tell, like, what his relationship with her is like. And then you got Jawan and Sage, who, like, did build rapport with him. Like, they did keep him safe by voting
Yeah.
out Shannon over him. So, like, there is that. But the fact that they just turned on MC, like, I would be disappointed in Steven if he just accepts that for what it is.
Yeah. Well, it if he accepts it, but is like, if it's like, I need to accept this because this is where the power is, and I need to like not rock the boat, all in on that, and like, oh, I'll get him later kind of thing, I can go for that. But yeah, if he's just like, well, whatever, I guess that was my closest ally, but I'm just gonna link up with that's like a different story, I think, for sure. It's so interesting because I don't know that anybody in the game right now has like a clear path of like, this is the group that's going to lock in, and it feels, we talk about voting blocks all the time, I feel like, but it genuinely feels like voting blocks after this vote,
Yeah.
because it broke up some stuff, because now Sage and Jawan are no longer like lockstep with Hina, and now Steven is going to be broken off from like Sophie and some Sage and Jawan potentially. Like, it feels like everybody's kind of in flux, and so yeah, this is the best case scenario, I think, for an episode like this. And Alex is very interesting to me. I feel like we're building to something with him, but he could just get voted out next. We'll see.
I mean, was there anything this episode that stood out? Or is it just like his positioning specifically that has potential?
There's a conversation pre-challenge. I remember him having a confessional where it's like, oh yeah, I'm like with these people, but if I have to just throw them under the bus, I'm gonna do that. Who was it? Somebody gave him information. Oh, when Christina found the idol, He was like, yeah, this is awesome. Now, like, Christina trusts me and she knows I have the idol, so she'll have my back. And if I need to, I'll just tell people she has the idol and throw her under the bus. And just like that mentality of like, I'm not beholden. Like, I'm gonna tell you what you think, and I believe him. Like, I think he's very good at that. But like, also, I'm gonna do what I need to do. I'll throw you under the bus immediately if I feel like that's best for me. And that saying it is one thing, doing it is another. So he might be big talk and no like follow through, but his way that he navigates in the game, like I think no one is worried about him, and that's always an interesting spot. But also, we've said that
Yeah.
about people before, and then they get voted out immediately. So
Well, I do think it just comes down to that, like, being on the minority tribe going into the merge. Like, there is a big benefit in that. I think, one,
yeah,
you are under the radar. Like, that fact is clearly true. And we've seen it season after
Mhm.
season where a lot of winners have come from that tribe. But also, I think going to tribal much longer, you do kind of just build that cutthroat mentality, you know? And I think he has it.
yeah,
I feel like Soph probably has it too, you know? I think she's just in like a different position than he is, where
hmm
he has the luxury to like choose power or backstab, where she's kind of like playing defense right now.
yeah.
But like I do think he has those characteristics more so than other people, and I think it's because of his unique experience that he's had so far this season.
Oh, for sure. And I'm all in on Soph at this point. I think I don't know why. I just
I'm all
love
in,
her.
I
I
think.
feel like she's so unassuming. I think she's one of those people who just like does not carry uh a perception that she's going to be like a very strong game player and make some like strong moves. And I feel like she has so far, and she, same as Alex, survived through so much and is very willing to be like, yeah, I'm with you now. I'll cut your throat later. The conversation, I'm pretty sure she was talking to Sage and she was like, hey, I felt like that was the best route for me. I now see it's not. I would love to work with you. And felt like Sage was very, very open to that. Yeah, I just Soph I think is cooking, and I'm excited to see where the rest of the season takes her.
Yeah, it is just one of those unfortunate things where it's like I would have liked to see her at tribal council this week to see like how she navigates it, you
Yeah.
know? So it's like, does
hmm
her not being at that tribal help her because it gives her a week of building rapport with other people, or does this hinder her a little bit because now she can't prove, you know? So I don't know. It's like I think that's the other part. It's like you know, if you have the bye week, you know, in sports or something, it's like that can be
Yeah.
good, but that could also just like ice you out and get you out of practice. Um,
hmm
so like I don't know. That's kind of how I feel about this, where it's like
I like that. Yeah.
I can't wait to see her back in the game and having to strategize once again. So
hmm
yeah, no, I mean I think there's potential there. I think her and Alex, like I said, I think they have a fun uh like opposing position, right? Like they
Yeah.
are, and that they could have been together. Like it feels like they were intentionally just like not, or like I don't know, like there wasn't effort there in like, hey, we need to stick together. Like I think they just acknowledged their positions and were like, all right, whatever
hmm
happens happens. And I think that's a fun place to be too, because it's not like they're against each other. They're just on
Yeah.
opposite sides, and the potential to link back up I think is also exciting, and I kind of hope that happens, you know, in maybe 2-3 weeks, like maybe they see themselves needing to work together again, and I think that could be fun.
It's like best case scenario. Obviously, best case scenario is you have somebody that you're super tight with when you get down to two people in a tribe like that, and you guys are just know that you're lockstep. But like, doesn't seem to me any bad blood there whatsoever. It's just like, hey, we got swapped onto these tribes, and we both did what we needed to do, and we're both going to vote differently. But there doesn't seem like there's like a lack of respect there, and I feel like that door is wide open to work together. And I think the situation that's unfolding where it feels like lines are blurring right now is best case scenario for that type of a game relationship. And I think both of them have that with just about everybody. I don't think they've made specific enemies, and that's partially they didn't start on the beaches with these people, so the people haven't been with them for 18 days of them snoring or whatever. You know what I mean? Like there was that buffer where it's like they came in late, they came in weak, so you don't see them as a threat. And hey, it's a great spot.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Should we talk about the team that did go to tribal? Because there's
One thing,
a lot there.
oh no, I guess it's within that a little bit, but it's still kind of pre-tribal or
Well, segue us in.
pre-challenge.
Let's start there then.
Savannah and Sage. I think they're more similar than I initially realized. I just think Savannah was cast as the hero and Sage was cast as more of the villain. And I think I feel it's interesting because they're like in this thing where they're both like against each other, not publicly, but like in every confessional, but they've both cast themselves as the victim when they're talking to other people. And I'm not saying that they're wrong. Like I think there's probably two sides to that story, absolutely. But it's like, especially this episode, Savannah, it was the first time that it's like, oh, she was like, I'm feeling this. I'm feeling left out. I feel like she's doing this to me. Or people are doing this to me. And so like, yeah, it's just very interesting because I feel like they're both playing very similarly. It's just Sage just has that more villainous edit. I don't know. I wonder if it's like they're more similar than we realize, I guess is where I'm at.
You see, I almost had the opposite. I think this
Oh, really?
episode. Well, okay, let me say it like this. I feel like the edit up until last week was very much like Savannah's this mean girl who is like excluding people. Sage is this underdog that is pushing back. And then I got to this episode and the roles are flipped. And then it got me thinking, it was like what did Savannah ever do? Other than be a part of a 4-person alliance that didn't include Sage. But like from the start, like Sage has been trying to go for Savannah even back then. And I don't know, because I like there was I think it was a confessional that Savannah had, and like obviously the edit this week was very heavy on like woe is me, Savannah, I'm left out, you know. But then I was like, what position was she in where she had power? Because it's not like the original Yuli tribe ever went to tribal, so it's not like she was able to exercise I'm in this 4-person alliance. I think Sage recognized that like I'm not a part of these conversations. But moving forward, everything has been Sage backstabbing people, and Savannah has yet to do that. So I think I think I was turned on like, oh, Savannah has never really wronged Sage. Like
That's fair.
Am I missing something?
Is it? I don't know. I think my thought and my response to that is like, is it unfair to say that Sage's temperament and like maybe it's just in confessionals. I guess we don't see like in the game, but she does not seem to come across as like the most fun person to be around. And maybe that's just the way it's edited. Is that unfair for me to factor that into it, do you think?
No, I think that's probably it.
I think that's the part that makes it feel like it's equal both ways. Because I think it was towards Shannon, but I remember there was a point where like Shannon said something, turned away, and Sage looked at the camera and rolled her eyes, and it's like, oh, that's not a very like great thing to do. But also, it could have been Shannon was the one who like turned on Sage and told Savannah that Sage was talking about Savannah. Man, I think I nailed that. But that's a lot of S names that I think I might have screwed up.
And it was even more confusing 3 weeks ago when we didn't know him as well.
Yeah. Now it helps a little bit. But I think there's definitely something to that. I think I would also say that I don't know that Savannah has been in a position where she has needed to blur the lines and backstab in any way yet. Like she was switched onto a tribe where she was in control, so she didn't need to worry about it, right? Am I getting that right?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, so they had the numbers, and so she didn't have to worry about that as much, whereas Sage had to start making decisions and start cutting people and jump to another side because she recognized she wasn't in the power alliance. But Savannah, and then last time it was like, oh yeah, we obviously go after Hina because we have numbers. She didn't realize that she had like cast out these two people and that they were coming after her. So maybe it's just gameplay knowledge, but yeah, I don't know that she's had that opportunity as much.
No, and I'm not saying like I don't think Sage is in the wrong here by what she's done, the game she's played. But I think she is trying to play it as if like Savannah's this big bad bully and I'm just trying to stop her because she's ruined my life. And then you look at the numbers and I'm like, let me get this straight. You were the first one to target her, which is why you told Shannon, and then Shannon told Savannah, right? Like, that's where that started, was Sage saying, like, hey, Savannah's dangerous. I don't recall Savannah doing that. I could be wrong, and maybe we didn't see it, right? But just from that, and then we have 2 weeks back-to-back where Sage blindsides her original tribe with Shannon and then Nate. So I'm like... Just own it. Just own that you're a villain, right? Like I'm fine with that, but don't pretend that Savannah's a villain, because in my mind, Savannah has been the victim almost this entire time.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, it's hard to have like a fully fleshed out conversation when we don't remember. At least I don't remember. I haven't gone back and watched the episode where Sage was like, yeah, frick Savannah. Because there might have been something there. But yeah, I think based on what has happened, that's probably fair to say. It's probably more so like, just own that you're a villain. Just get over it. Savannah didn't really do anything to you. Hey, yeah, you've convinced me.
She doesn't have to.
No,
like,
there's
you
definitely
can just
some
not
nuance
like
to that.
her. Like, you're allowed to not like people. I'm fine with that if you don't like Savannah.
Yeah.
It's more of the, like... Just acknowledge your position, and you're in a power position. Like, you're in the Power Alliance. You are blindsiding people. You, like, great job. Like, you were playing a good game because you made it there. But, like, and obviously you'd be frustrated if that person then comes over to your losing tribe with their individual immunity and says they're going to vote with you. I get that. That's annoying. But I don't know. It just, like, it dawned on me where it's like, why is Savannah a villain? I don't know. She seems fine.
But I feel like going purely off of my perception and my feeling in the early episodes, I don't remember feeling like Sage was being unreasonable in that stance, or that like, I want to get Savannah out. I feel this, I feel that. So maybe I'm going off of that more than anything, and maybe revisiting it would change it. But yeah, that's a good point, Nathan.
Thanks. I win.
You win. So this tribe that went to tribal. Let's dig into
this
that.
Team.
What do you think?
This team that went to tribal.
Team. Well, not even +1.
+1.
Yeah, it's more tribe than team when you think about it that way.
I don't know, man. I don't know how we wrestled. Can we talk about that advantage, though? I kind of liked it. I thought it was fun.
Really liked it.
Yeah.
Really liked it. Really liked the idea. Just the idea of Rizzo not playing his idol and then having it this week to scare people. Like, that just doesn't happen that cleanly that often. And so that was nice. And then Savannah also coming with so now the two people who were obviously like the two biggest targets for the bigger alliance are both just safe, and you got to figure it out. Like, yeah, it just worked perfectly. And that idea of like, especially in this scenario, it's like, oh, do I play this vote so that I can make sure Rizzo's fine? And like the fact to not do that, not play the idol is just, yeah, loved it. Loved every second.
Yeah, it's just like, it's not often where Survivor pulls out something that's like completely brand new, in the sense where like it actually affects every aspect of the game, where it's like, what does this mean strategically? What does this mean socially? You know, like, what would it be like to have someone come to your tribal council with immunity and potentially not even voting? Like, her job there was just to have conversations. I will say, like, the one thing is, like, I don't know how much of this vote had to do with her, and not saying it had to, because clearly it worked out.
Yep.
But I think it would have been really fun if she just comes, completely dominates and shakes things up, you know? Like, that would have been like a real like hero moment. That didn't quite happen, but nevertheless, just like the chaos element and seeing everyone kind of scramble, like, why is she here? Why is she going to vote? You know, it's fun.
Yeah. Do you think that the outcome changes at all if Savannah doesn't go there?
I don't know. I want to say no because again, it feels like
I don't
most of
think it
that
does.
stuff happened on its own, and she just happened to be a part of it, And I think she definitely like once she realized what was happening, probably encouraged it or probably egged it on.
Yeah.
But like most of what was set into motion started before she got there.
Yeah, at most, I think she nudged it in that direction and like kind of solidified it. It's like, oh, voting for Rizzo really is less of an option now because now they have 2 votes that are for sure together. Like that happened, but I don't think he was getting voted for in the first place because just the idol stuff made it hard.
Yeah. Which is funny because like okay, so let's walk through this a little bit, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because I do think it's somewhat important. The original plan was to get Rizzo out. They were going to convince him that it was Sophie and put the rest of the votes on him. So that was the original plan.
Which
then
I don't think was a good plan from the jump. When Sophie suggested that, I was
No.
like, I don't think that's going to work.
Which is why she suggested, or she didn't, well, she told MC, I'm going to put a vote on Jawan. Because if Rizzo votes
Which is
for
a good
me,
play.
I vote for him, it's a tie. My question is, like, do you think that the revote would go on him? I don't know if it would.
If MC's with her, yeah. Because
If
if there's a revote
MC's
and there's one on Jawan and one on Rizzo, they don't vote.
Oh, that's a
Or
good
wait,
point.
It would be no, it'd be on
No,
what
no,
would
no,
it
no,
be?
no.
One on
Rizzo,
Sophie, one on Jawan. So Sophie and
yeah.
Jawan wouldn't vote. That's on me. So then
Uh-huh.
Rizzo, Sage, and MC.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't. now that you mention it, that would not work.
That's what
That
I'm
would
saying.
not work at all.
So, not a good plan.
She really thought that she had Sage.
I think she did. I also think that maybe she should have suggested to MC, like, hey, thoughts on this? Would you like to vote with me? Because, like,
Yeah.
best case
Yeah.
scenario, it will be a
Tie between
Rizzo and who, like,
and
Jawan.
Jawan.
Uh-huh. Like, that would be
So it'd be
the
2 and
correct
2 on
move.
them. Yeah. Because then those two have the majority play.
Revote will just go for Rizzo and we'll apologize later. I don't know. But like
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Absolutely.
single vote on Jawan did not work. Okay, so then anyway, so that aside.
It's crazy.
MC,
She really thought she had Sage on her side, and she did not.
I don't think she did. I really don't.
No.
Yeah, so then MC tells Jawan this plan, and that's where Jawan gets a little spooked, and then it eventually, like, everything's just out in the open. And I can't believe how out in the open it was. Even to the point where Sophie's just acknowledging to Jeff, like, hey, it's between us. Like, I'm like, what is going on? Like, what is this gameplay where the two of you are now begging for the other 3 or 4 people on this team to, like, pick the other person, not me?
Yeah, what do you think? Whenever that happens, I don't know if I respect it or it's like that is the most desperate thing you can do is just be like, it's between us. Because that just that removes any opportunity for anything else. And I don't know, the whole like MC taking Jawan aside, like what pitch could that have been to try to convince him?
I don't know. Other than like, hey, I'm the one that told you that she was gonna vote for you. Like,
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised they didn't take her more seriously with that. I honestly thought when Sophie admitted that at Tribal Council, I was worried that, oh, maybe this is actually Rizzo. Maybe she is doing this scene to be like, it's between the two of
When
us.
they did the talk, when they like pulled him aside, that's where I thought it was going. Genuinely. For a second, I was like, oh, and then like there's that little voice in the back of my head that's like, Rizzo's coming back, so it can't be that.
Yep.
But like, because after Savannah had like, I don't want to say like, she had the like backstory. I was going to say sob story. That's mean. The backstory, because I think that would be very difficult. I don't want to say that. Yeah, whatever. I was like, does she go here? Like, is this like her last hurrah? I'd be like, that'd be wild. Like, because it felt like that was like let's give him this real quick and then send her out. But yeah, same with Rizzo. I was like, that would be the play for sure. Is like, all right, we've just convinced everybody that it's between me and her. can we please vote Rizzo? Can we please go for it?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
go
it
two,
wasn't.
two on Rizzo, two on me. I would honestly say that too. I'd be like, hey, go 3 on Rizzo, 2 on me, and just in case I'll be the backup, but I would love to take him out right here. That
Yeah.
should have been the play.
There's a lot that should have been in play. And I'm still kind of confused. And I think my confusion is just because it was bad gameplay by both of them in that moment, but especially leading up to that moment. Because how on earth? And again, I don't think this was like Rizzo's doing. I don't think this was Savannah's doing. Like,
No.
it's not like they specific. Now, I will say, I think Rizzo was one of the first ones that suggested MC over Sophie. And I think his reasoning was good. And I think that's kind of what sold it on which one over the other. You know, because like, I think his reasoning was like, look, Sophie won the last individual immunity challenge. She came in second at this one. So, like, she's going to be a threat, but she's the obvious threat. MC is well connected. So if we get her out here, we can just get Sophie the next time she loses individual, which I think is like probably a, you know, not a bad call. But I'm just like shocked. I'm like, how did Sophie and MC let this happen? Like, there's dozens of things you could have done better.
I do think from Jawan and Sage, this was a really good play because the people you just stabbed in the back a couple times by getting rid of Shannon and as well, who have now gone back and worked with them again. And so now that door is open a little bit, at least, where it's like, yeah, we did this. We can still work with you. And yeah, ultimately, I think those two probably want to take out Rizzo and Savannah, but the risk was too high there to like take that shot potentially. And so like for them, I feel like it was the smartest move to it's the perfect situation. In Survivor, to me, the perfect situation is you go into the merge, you get 2 people, and then you two just sit in the middle and pick off swapping between sides. So keep switching alliances and picking people off until it's just you and a couple, like just keep being like, oh no, those people hate you, those people hate you. And so that's when I've played, that's the strategy that I wanted to employ. I feel like that's the move always. And I feel like I see that a little bit, and that actually excites me a lot.
Do you think that Sage and Jawan are smart enough to pull that off?
No.
Because
No.
I think that's
they'll
my
fall
thing.
Fall into it, yeah, accidentally, but it'd still be cool.
Because like
That's what Tony, like I feel like that's how I see Tony's game in 20. It's just bouncing between the two sides and picking people off. And it's one of the best games we've ever seen. And so that's what I'm hoping for. But yeah, it's probably too much to ask. That's a fair thought.
I feel like the people in that position are probably Alex and potentially Soph. That
Yeah.
like that's what I
Yeah.
would say.
Yeah, probably more so. But
'Cause,
this is them putting themselves in the position to potentially do that. Do they actually have the wherewithal, strategic ability to do so? No. Soph and Alex absolutely have the strategic and wherewithal to do that. But I don't know if they're working as lockstep as they need to be to do such a thing.
Well, because like Sage, for example, she's the one that hates Savannah. You know, she can't go to Christina and be like, "Hey, you hate Savannah. Savannah hates you." You know, like that's not gonna work. Like, true. She's the one with the strong feelings about other
Use
players.
that hatred.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, I don't know, but like I do think that is an interesting thought, though. And I guess I didn't really consider that like, what are Savannah and Rizzo's thoughts? Because like, for all we know, like they're not fully aware the extent of Sage's disdain towards both of them, right? Like, yes, they were blindsided, but before Nate's blindside, they believed the Shannon thing, right? Like that seemed to not affect them that much. So it's really only the Nate blindside. So like, you do wonder, like, is there a world where they could be fooled in thinking like, oh, Sage and Jawan are back with us?
Yeah, I definitely think that they could be convinced of that. And that's part of what it is like, oh, going that way this time, now those two, you have at least lulled them into a false sense of security, which is awesome. You love to see that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited. To answer your earlier question, I think this is I might be thinking about it this week. I might. We'll see. I might be thinking about
Yeah,
what's
we'll
going to
see if
happen
I
on
am
Wednesday.
too. I might be. It's on the table. Who knows?
Real quick to go over the advantages currently in there, since we did have a new idol this week. Idols are with Christina and Rizzo. Savannah now has an extra vote, and Soph is still holding on to that knowledge is power. Good for her.
Yep.
So
Yeah, and
that's
definitely
pretty.
knows where at least one idol is. Like if you're really worried that he's gonna play it, you can just take it.
Is there a world where Alex would tell Soph about Christina's idol, and Soph could make a fun move?
There is a world.
It's possible, right? I mean,
It's possible, and I'd love it. I would love it. That'd be awesome.
who else saw it? Steven, right? I think Steven was there and saw she has an
Yeah.
idol.
Yeah.
So. All right. Anything else?
I think that's all I got. It's a good episode overall. They're good episodes. They're interesting things happening. But it just like disappears from my mind until it's Wednesday and it's like, ooh, that's happening tonight. All right, yeah. I forgot about that.
I will say the transition from Big Brother to Survivor is pretty jarring too, because I think like with Big Brother, it's, you know, you log on any hour of the day and you can see updates, you know, and you get to choose how much you want to know about what's happening. And Survivor, it's a contained amount. Like there is no more information that you can gain other than just like rewatching it. And so, you know, it's a different show.
Yeah,
That's for
do
sure.
they still do those like? Do they still do those like secret scenes or whatever?
I don't even know, but I feel like those aren't even like game related all the time.
No, usually not. Sometimes it's like, oh, that you didn't see this conversation and it's kind of cool. But yeah,
Yeah. The only other thing worth noting is that you did have MC drafted, so I'm
I
back in
did.
the lead.
So you've taken the lead. Yep, you're
Well-
in the lead. And I will say, I don't know that it's looking great for me. I think it's looking really good for you.
Well, I will say, if one of mine goes home next week, we're tied.
Oh,
But
okay.
if I last
I
another
would
week,
think
I'll
most
be
likely
ahead.
would be like Steven to go next week.
Yeah, because I still have Steven, Savannah, and Alex. You have
Yeah,
Soph and
Sage.
Sage. Right.
I would say out of those five, I think Sage is most likely to go next week. Is that crazy?
I don't think it's crazy. I think it's hard.
At
I
least
think
that's my
like
read on things.
I think it's just trying to view like has she completed what has been set up for her as far as like the edit goes, which we don't talk about, but like MC, right? I think like her idol play last week, it feels like, oh, that's complete. Like that there's really nothing more to learn
Yeah.
about her. And
Yeah.
it could have been more. I think if she saves the idol, maybe she stays longer. But Sage just like, I don't know. Like I feel like there's still she might make it pretty far just with
Yeah.
the like the character they built her up to be. I don't know. That's all I
I
got.
don't know.
All right.
You
Well,
kind of disappeared for a second there.
I'm back now and I'm ending this thing. So for more episodes,
End it.
find us on
Finish
Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you listen to podcasts. We are on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube at NGAP Pod. That's at NGAP Pod. I'm Nathan. This is Tony, and we will see you next week.
17 seasons, 2 pals, 1 podcast.